The recording artist wants to gain exposure for their art, but they also want to gain a monetary sum as well. Therefore, they need to know how to sell anything if they are a music artist. And we're going to dig into that on today's episode of the Music Money Makeover Show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Money Makeover Show. My name is Casey Graham. Let's address this. Let's address the fact that we have another issue on knowledge. We need to know how to sell anything as an artist because we're selling a lot of different things. Sometimes artists lose the sight of that. They get wrapped up in the art itself as music or, you know what I mean, or the show, and they forget about the other stuff that actually makes the money for them. It's the other ancillary businesses that go around it that actually make the money for them. Our first thing we got to address in knowing how to sell anything is knowing how to package it. When you know how to package something right, the customer or the general public can see that you actually put effort into making the product. You know, presenting the product the right way. This is your first form of branding, even though you can't do it. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. You can't brand yourself. The customer has to do it, but I'm going to tell you how in a minute. If you put a good foot forward on creating the package, it will take some of the work off of marketing and promoting it because when people see it, you don't have to push as hard. It must look the part. When you take it to the market, it must look the part, meaning it must compete with the highest of high products out there. But you just have to do it to the best of your ability as an independent artist. If you don't look like you're trying to compete, nobody will care, okay? The customer won't care. You know, should I get this Kendrick Lamar album or should I get your album? Should I get this Alicia Keys album or should I try and check you out? What's going to make you so different? And the first thing that you have to come across the table is how your packaging looks. So, quality should be as high as you can get for the speed at which you need to release, okay? And because you're just starting out, you might not need to release over and over and over and over and over again new music. That comes in the form of content. But the quality should be as high as you can get it for the speed at which you need to release it. Let that stick in your mind. As a music artist, you have music to sell, but music has many markets. So I want you to make a list of everywhere possible you could sell your music, whether it be selling it as a digital download, streaming it on Spotify and all the streaming sources, licensing it for synchronization purposes, getting it at radio or at least webcast radio or something like that. You know, you name it. Any category where you can actually sell your music, I want you to make a list of every category you can sell your music. Now, I want you to think about this. Each one of those categories has a different marketplace. Let's just add place behind it. Spotify is a different marketplace than going to a sync agent to get your music in that sync catalog. That's a different marketplace. They sell differently than they do on Spotify. And every place takes a different type of package. The same package you deliver to Spotify is not the same package that you're going to deliver to the webcast radio stations. So once you understand that, you can start to see where, okay, as long as I package it right and I break it down for the different marketplaces, I can really start to sell anything. Now we got to promote it. Inside of the marketplace, once the package is there on the shelf, we must push it to the consumer. So if we're going to push it to the consumer in the form of playlisting on Spotify is how we would do it. If we want to get people on social media to listen to our music, we put it in the content. We tell them that the link is in our bio if they want to go stream it. Or if we're on TikTok, we'll use it in the content, and that little record spinning at the bottom of the TikTok video will tell us that, hey, this is the music that's being used. And if you like it, you can tap on it and see who else is using it, or you can save it to a playlist. Now, if you gave it to a sync agent, they're promoting it to music supervisors and production companies. You get what I'm saying? So the promotion of it is different in every aspect. If you're going to webcast radio stations, you're using email as promotion. You're not using playlisting for promotion. You get what I'm saying? So every marketplace and consumer that comes to that marketplace requires a different type of promotion. You have to figure out what that is.
Message.
Now, our last step here is to brand it. And this is something that you can't do, but you can help it with the way you package your product in the beginning. The effort that you put in your product in the beginning is the initial steps to branding. Check this out. The customer relays the experience back to themselves or gives a word-of-mouth expression for the next person. And if they relay the experience back to themselves, then the customer logs it in their brain saying that, hey, this was a great experience and I love what I heard. I'm going to listen again. Or I loved it so much, I'm going to recommend it to somebody else. This causes retention. It causes re-attention. The customer comes back to listen again, and then they also tell somebody else. That all comes from your packaging, but you cannot brand yourself. You can only present in a great way. The customer has to brand it for you. And as long as that customer can keep coming back because they had a great presentation, then you will be successful at branding. Branding is all about making your message clear. So if they see that artwork, they have to know it's you. They have to remember that that's you. If they see the artwork and it has your name up there on the top, people will remember it because they saw a picture of you and your name. Hey, this artist, she had on a red dress in the artwork. That's as far as they got. They need to see it again. When they see it again and they see the name, oh, yeah, that artist, that her name. You know what I mean? This is called retention. Over and over again, they're seeing you over and over again, but this is happening because you're pushing it in that marketplace. So the consumer can see it again, so you can cause re-attention or retention to happen. It's very simple. It's a process. It's a 4-step solution. Now that you hear this, this should cut down on some confusion that you probably had in the beginning of where you were going to get this information, because as I said last week, we have issues of people not knowing where to get the information. Now, I'm not recommending any books on this episode, but at least if you take what I said, you took some notes and you internalized it, this should help you when you're trying to push your album or your singles or your music video or your content. Now, I've surpassed this starting point that a lot of you all are stuck at. I've also designed a lot of frameworks for myself, for what I do at the Music Money Makeover show here, and for the channel and for the website that I can definitely implement for you. You can always book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com. But this is what I want you to think about. If you master these 4 skills, you'll never have to think about money again. Because even if you lost it all, you would still possess the skills to start all over again, if you had the drive to do so. If you put these skills off, if you put off learning about these skills just to say, I'm just going to go back and create, that's not going to lead you to success. It's not. Some of you all may get bitter and say, it just depends on what your vision of success is. Yeah, it does. Your vision of success may just be getting an extra $1,000 a month from your art and you're happy and you have your family and you love your job. If that's what you want, great. You still need to know these skills. If you want to do this full time, you got to know these skills. And I don't care if you're a record label owner, a publisher, a producer, a songwriter, an artist, you still got to know these skills. So hopefully you're feeling pumped to take some sort of action right now. You know what I mean? At least you're in a mind state where you have grown from the I don't know what to do, I don't know how to sell, but at least you have some bits and pieces of information to get going. Hopefully this has cut down on some confusion. Okay? Now you're not lost. You have a starting point. Anyway, Music Money Makers, my name is Casey Graham. Book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com. Download the 60-day label, and I'll see you next time. Peace.